15 trials for the Grade 1 Texas Classic Futurity, the big one coming up on November 28th. We're actually going to set a timer for us around the horn style, so you'll hear a bell go off, and we'll allow, maybe a few seconds of stoppage time to wrap up our thought. But we're going to try to race through it as much as we can. The first race is a super high 5 race, carry over $5,059. Oddly enough, I think it's one of the most wide open races. We might have to spend a little more than the designated 2 minutes on this first race, but let's go and start picking some winners for the marathon card.
Yeah, 15 races tonight. They're all going to be fun. A lot of good horses in tonight. Race number 1, I think I'll take the number 5, FM Zantanaz, D3rd for the winner is this one right here. I think you've got the same one, it looks like, up there. I always like those horses that Manny Gutierrez gets the mount on. It's always nice to see Caritas out here. This horse has had some good races in the past. I mean, those ones at Delta Downs earlier this year were all pretty good. Came out here, ran a 400-yard race for the Dash for Cash Trials. Finished 5th in that one, but, look who he ran. Look who he ran behind in that race. One more I'm Gone V and Graceland out of that same trial.
The winner and the juvenile winner both came out of the trial, and I'm an Eagle, the runner-up, couldn't go in the final but qualified. That's the best trial for that whole thing. Yeah,
definitely a solid trial there. And finishing 5th in that one, I'm not looking at it as it was too bad of a finish with those good horses in there. I'll take the 2 as my second choice. That's OJD Chavella J. Couple wins in a row for this horse, looking to pick up number 3. Has only raced down at the Gillespie County Fairgrounds, so we'll see how that translates up here to Grand Prairie. And then I'm going to go with a little bit of a shot as my third choice. That is the 7, an EC Fama. This horse was a winner last time out in Allowance Company. That was at this 400-yard distance here at Lone Star Park. So putting all those things together, I think this horse with a 20-1 morning line might have a shot.
I agree. I don't think it's that outrageous a shot. I've got EC Fama 4th. One key thing, even in trials like this, a good race over the track is important. We saw that in an example of a long shot winner last night. This horse had a really nice 1A other than allowance win back in the second week of the meet. So I've got him 4th. FM Zantanaz, D3rd, maybe a little bit better earlier in his 2-year-old campaign, but his Dash for Cash trial was pretty good. He has an experience edge over Adrian Wheatrone's filly, who will be ridden by James Flores, by the way. Luis Vivanco is off his mounts. And I have Blue Capo as the 3rd. There's our first bell of the night, so we're out of time for race 1. But I'm going 5-2-6-7. Rodney will go 5-2-7. Blue Capo looks on the PPs like he finished like a freight train or an express train. Visually, the race didn't appeal to me as much, but he's a factor as well. On to the second trial. We don't have to go over conditions or anything. All these races are at 400 yards, and we're on different ones here in race 2.
All right, I got a top pick. You don't have in your top 4 at all. I like that. That's the number 8 in Gray Steel. 3 races for this horse, all coming out in New Mexico at Ruidoso Downs. Does have a race at this 400-yard distance. That was the debut for this horse. Finished 2nd in that race. If you look at the 3rd-place horse, Coronado Center, who was also in race 1 tonight, that horse came out of that first race for Gray Steel and went and won his All-American trial after that. So something to be said for that. Most recent race, the horse had some trouble at the start, so I'm going to count a line through that one. I think Gray Steel gets close to the winner's circle tonight. I got the 10 as my second choice. Who's your top pick? I'll go ahead and let you talk about that one.
All right.
And my third choice, I'll have the 5. That is Dash and Leader. I mean, this horse is coming out of some solid races back at Retama Park earlier this year. The 2 trials and the maiden race, this horse won all 3 of those. In the finals of those races, didn't fare so well, but I think that this horse can get up and finish in the mix here in race 2.
Again, I think throughout the course of the night, my picks are going to get really chalky because there's some, as there always are in trials, just some huge stick-out horses with huge accomplishments. This is, though, a race where I think there is some contention, and I took Royal Tales LBH. Note that this horse has a work that's not in the program because it happened on Tuesday at the Silver Star Equine Center up in Oklahoma. It was a best of the morning work among just 4 workers at 220 yards, 13:07 breezing. I'd love it if Royal Tales had a more recent race, but when she has gotten to the races, she's acquitted herself very well. She's made 2 futurities already this year. I don't love the post position. If I had it to re-handicap and reconsider now, I might favor the 4, my favorite Hawks, my second pick. I mean, my favorite Hawks is drawn in the absolute golden spot on the racetrack. It looks like has been favored in both of her starts. Very fractious, though, in her last start, a rainbow trial. And I know the chart caller, Uridoso, and he used the term very fractious. He doesn't throw terms around willy-nilly. He's good with words and does a great job. And so I got to think he was really fractious to get a very fractious call on his last race. But nonetheless, I'm going to go 10-4-5 in that one. On to the third. Another 400-yard trial. I think we're getting into that stage of the program where we're going to start to see a few more obvious picks. Even though morning line-wise, this isn't necessarily a giveaway for Mr. Illusion, whom we both like.
Yeah, I think you got to take a strong look at Mr. Illusion. I mean, ran second in the Rainbow Futurity behind Whistle Stop Cafe. Went in the trial for the All-American. Guess what? He caught Whistle Stop Cafe once again. So it's hard when you're catching that horse twice in a row to pick up some wins. But I do think that Mr. Illusion is probably the best of the field here, and I expect to see this horse in the winner's circle when it's all said and done. Second choice, I went with the 6, Just a Candy Rogue. This horse was running in Louisiana. A lot of those horses that have been at Delta Downs earlier this year have translated into good starts out here at Lone Star Park. I mean, the horse has a decent record. I mean, 2 pretty good-sized futurities in the Firecracker and the Old South, finishing 4th in both of those. I think that Just a Candy Rogue can have a good run here. And then I took the horse on the outside, the number 10, Valiant, as my third pick. I mean, 3 out of the 4 races, this horse has finished in the top 2. Including a win 2 starts back. That was on the 4th of July at Ruidoso Downs. It's had 1 start since then that came toward the end of August. I think this horse should be primed and ready to go here.
I agree. I mean, since he was fractious in the Ruidoso Juvenile, and that may have very well, that and start trouble cost him any chance at the race as a bit of a long shot. He's run 2 really good trials for the Rainbow and the All-American since, but it still wasn't enough to get me off of Mr. Illusion. He was even money in that trial against Whistle Stop Cafe, and she was maybe 3-5 or 4-5, I'm not sure, but they were both around even money, which means that bettors thought that he had a real shot to compete with her. Wound up, he was beaten a little more than 2 lengths, but she's the best 2-year-old going. So I like Mr. Illusion over Valiant. My third pick is the 6, Just a Candy Rogue. Made the Firecracker at Delta an open graded race last time out, and made the Old South and faced a really good one, and what a historic moment. Hey, we made that one before the bell rang.
There it goes.
On we go to the 4th. This one has another field of 10, and now we're getting into the real blinking lights category with a heavy favorite here in Famous and Easy.
Yeah, it looks like, a standout here. 4-5 on the morning line for the 2, Famous and Easy. Horse was in the All-American Futurity, and if you caught that race, I mean, you noticed that there was a bunch of horses that got into each other in that one. This is one of them that was involved in all that. Ended up being DQ'd to 9th after crossing the finish line 6th in that one. They were all up there pretty close. I mean, I think it was a good race. You would like to see them get out a little bit cleaner and not have those DQs and see what happened. But horse won his trial to get into the All-American. Horse was in the Rainbow Juvenile this year, ran 3rd in that one. I think there's a lot to like about how this horse performed out in New Mexico earlier this year, and even back at Remington Park toward the beginning of the year. A couple solid races there. Second choice, I went with the number 9, just like you did. It's Trace Coronas, a winner last time out. Of course, that was a short race. That was at 250. This horse has tried the 400-yard distance one time that came back on the 3rd of July out in New Mexico. Finished 3rd in that one, so I think this horse can stay up there for this 400 yards. And then I took the 3, Superfly B, as my third choice right here. Some races down at Retama through this summer. I mean, a 3rd was the most recent one. If you look back, this horse did pick up a solid 2nd just by a neck at Retama Park. And then on the 3rd of July, picked up a win out at Retama Park as well. I think this horse can get it done.
Yeah, I took him 4th as well. I think he is kind of on that other tier of contenders. I really like our top 2 picks in here. I mean, Famous and Easy is a half to MM4 in the Morning, who was the beaten favorite in the All-American a couple of years ago. And, this horse made the All-American as well. Has primarily always cashed checks, except the one race where he was disqualified and moved down to a lower cashing position in the All-American. Trace Coronas, the big advantage for him is just he's a very quick breaker, and this is a 400-yard race. Some of these trying it for the first time. He's been 440 and 400 a couple of times, and so he's a sharp breaker, and he should be in there. My third pick's the one, Sophia Maria. Avoided trouble for the first time in her last race, but was well beaten in a tough allowance race. We'll see how she fares here from the inside. On to the fifth, we've got a video. So let's swing over and take a look at Rare High Dynasty, who in this particular case is going to be horse number 2. So let's watch the 2, Rare High Dynasty. Bumped at the start here. This was a Dash for Cash trial. Doesn't get out particularly well. Now, finds himself kind of in the, I guess you'd say the second flight here, but kept on reasonably well. The winner of this race was One More and I'm Gone V. That's the horse getting up on the outside. That is the horse that won it all in the Dash for Cash. I thought Rare High Dynasty, it wasn't the worst trouble I've ever seen at the start, but it was some issues, bumped both sides, and hung in there reasonably well considering the trouble that he had at the start. So I'm going to go him over his time to deal. I think this is kind of an outside-inside situation here. His time to deal, rattled off 3 in a row and then ran 4th in that, I forgot to start my timer, the Texas TQHA Sires Cup. And then I went with Torts on a Wagon, 3rd, who had a really nice win in Maiden Company here on October 3rd.
Yeah, I agree with you on the 10. I think Rare High Dynasty is the one to beat here after winning that trial for the Dash for Cash. Got squeezed. I mean, he's had some trouble in the last 3 starts, this horse has, but I think coming from the outside, although I'm not a fan of the 10-hole this year, I think this horse can get it done. His time to deal, solid choice as well, winning 3 or 4, like you said. And if you look at that TQHA Sires Futurity, got beat by One Incredible Hawk, who was a qualifier for the Dash for Cash Futurity. So solid horse there. And then I took the 7, I Will Decide, as my third choice. Horse coming off a win last time out by a length and a quarter. That was at 350, had tried 400 the race before that. Finished second in that one just by half a length with some next out winner in there too. I think I Will Decide might be a decent one to play here in race 5.
Yeah, you've had a lot of third picks that I've had 4th, which means that, we're both kind of in and around those secondary contenders. And even though that was against maidens, a horse like I Will Decide competes both times, wins over the track. You never know if the favorites don't get out well. Anything can really happen in a situation like that. Although this race is kind of typical of some trials where you have a couple of real stick-outs, and then some horses that are paid up in it. So you go and you take your chance, but you end up with stratified fields. I noticed on the monitor that with the sun glaring off the floor, I'm kind of scary. I'm kind of scary looking there. It's very white. On we go to number 6 on this Marathon 15 race card. And, hey, you're picking against Caliente Caramello.
I am picking against that horse. I'm going with Patron TLC as my top selection here. That's the horse coming out of the number 1 hole. This horse was in that TQHA Sires Futurity. I've been picking a lot of horses out of that one. I mean, if you look at it, this horse finished 4th in that one, just 3/4 of a length behind. But guess who ran 2nd in that race? Grazeland. You also had Quick Chicks Dynasty in that one. So some good horses that came out of that race. We'll see Grazeland later on tonight. That was the horse that won the Dash for Cash Juveniles you touched on just a second ago. I mean, that trial race that he ran last time, which was out here at Lone Star Park for the Dash for Cash, One Incredible Hawk was the winner of that one. He finished 2nd just by a head to that horse. I think there's a lot to like about Patron TLC. I went with the 6 Caliente Carmelo as my second pick. I'll let you go into the reasons why that horse is so hot here in this race. And then I took Mr. JJ PVC Eagle as my third choice. I mean, this horse came close to winning the trial for the Dash for Cash last time from Quick Chicks Dynasty. Just missed by a neck. Has had some good races. I mean, was fast enough to qualify for the Firecracker Futurity at Delta Downs. Was in the Old South Futurity. Lost the jockey, hit the rail. Out of it there, but was fast enough to get into those 2 futurities at Delta Downs and almost quick enough to win a trial out here last time. So I think Mr. JJ PVC Eagle definitely deserves a look here.
Yeah, I agree. Again, I've got him fourth. I kind of liked his trial, actually. I mean, he had a nice lead, got caught late by Quick Chicks Dynasty. But, as far as Caliente Caramello, I mean, this filly made the All-American. She also had a good enough time to make the Rainbow, but she was subsequently, after the race, disqualified, so she wasn't able to go in that. So if you make two of those three futurities on time, that's really good. She's also a half to both Hot Stepper and Hot Sempting, and both of those are really, really good. And we'll see how much that helps her today. But most of her efforts have been pretty solid. So, and I have Patron TLC second. I like his chances as well. And Gale Force, the 3-horse, who used to be trained by Rex Dean Brooks, now is trained by Rolando Almanza. Gale Force kind of turned into a little bit of a money burner, but, has been right there in a couple of his races. On to the 7th. In this one, I think we got a pretty good matchup here. You and I are both on the 8. Rick Lee likes the 10 Sanity. I think both of those have good credentials.
Yeah, I like the 8 Best Moon Flash. I mean, this horse out of the 5 starts has never finished out of the exacta. Has one win and then 4 consecutive seconds. All those seconds have been up there really close. Has run this 440-yard or this 400-yard distance before. Second in that one just by a neck. I think Best Moon Flash fires out of the gate and picks up the W here. The 10 Sanity, second choice, had a win 2 starts back at Rio Dosa Downs. That was at 350, tried 440 last time, finished second by 3/4. Doesn't have this 400, but hey, had a good start at 350, a good start at 440. So basically splitting it right in half. We'll see how Sanity can do here. And then I took the 9 Caramel as my third choice. A solid second last time out in Allowance Company. That came right out here on our track at this 400-yard distance. I like that here in this horse.
Yeah, I mean, we're the same here in the same order. Best Moon Flash, I thought a really nice second last time behind Card 1 Starter, who was a really nice winner. Sanity, you talked about him. Caramel, should have a good speed again. I mean, she showed really good gate speed going this distance last time and just got caught by El Chocolatito, who I thought was a good winner in that allowance race. And then my fourth pick, Justified. I thought this horse broke fine. I was really looking forward to seeing where he next went. I didn't think about him being paid up to this race. If Justified had dropped back in against Maidens, I think I would have picked him off his last race. But, I mean, he finds himself in a pretty tough spot here. Let's advance here ahead of the buzzer to race number 8. We might have the shortest price of the night in here, although we do have Shotgun coming up later. But Instigator isn't going to take too many back seats when it comes to being a short price as well, but we'll see about that.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to overlook Instigator here in this spot. Yeah. I mean, horse has had a very, very good year so far. I mean, $570,000 what this horse has earned so far. Started off his career with back-to-back wins, one of them qualifying him for the Heritage Place Futurity, where he ran third in that one by a neck to Shotgun. A win in the trial for the All-American after that. And then, of course, ran second in the All-American, just behind Whistle Stop Cafe in a close one. So I think this is a standout right here in race 8. Second choice, I'll go with the 6, Jessa Candy Legacy. Last 3 races have been pretty good for this horse, a first, a second, and a third. The 2 times he didn't win, just missing by 3/4 of a length. One of them coming right out or at this 400-yard distance. And then the 3, Mr. Blue Sky, is going to be my third selection here. I'm going to kind of count out that last race. It was beaten pretty bad in that one, or, finished 7th by 2.5. But, the races before that, a couple thirds and a second, all up there being close. I mean, this horse spent those 3 races out at Rio Dosa Downs. I think he'll run pretty good here. That's Mr. Blue Sky.
I used him 4th as well. I mean, my comment on my PPs, so I'd remember what was going through my head was, what happened? I mean, basically, it's kind of inexplicable, basically. I mean, this horse came out of those huge trials at Ruidoso where he acquitted himself really well and just completely laid an egg at 8-5 here against Maidens. If he flashes back to what he was doing in the spring and summer, he could really compete with some of these at least. But, I'm all over Instigator as well. I mean, just the record speaks for itself. He's 3rd in the current AQHA poll of the top 2-year-olds in the country. And so that's obvious. Just a Candy Legacy. First time with Rolando Almanza. That's a fairly obvious a second pick for me, and I have Jess Adamant, the one who just ran into Bad Monkey twice in a row, and Bad Monkey was really going well when Jess Adamant ran third and fifth to him here and at Ruidoso Downs. So I would give Jess Adamant a little look maybe in your vertical wagers. 9th race out of 15. Don't forget we start at 4:35 Central today for the long card. And then next week we go back to 12 races starting at 6:05 Central Time starting on Saturday. Scratch the 10, Jessa Bossman out of this 9th trial. And when we're done, if we have time, I will go over the exotic wagering menu for tonight, which I've been skipping over. But the 6-shooter, the pick 5, and that started different points tonight, obviously.
I'm on Graceland. I'm sure you are too. Yeah, it looks like you are too. Graceland, winner of the Dash for Cash Juvenile. This horse has been solid. Ran second in that TQHA sales feature earlier this year. $115,000 this horse has won so far this year. I think that Graceland is the one to beat here in race 9. Second choice, I'm going with the number 5, and Oz Super Freak. This is a pretty good horse right here, no doubt about it. You were talking about the horse that ran into Bad Monkey a couple times in the last race. Well, Oz Super Freak, the same thing has happened to Oz Super Freak here. Ran into Bad Monkey at Ruidoso Downs in the challenge race out there. Last time out, ran against Bad Monkey. That was in the Bank of America Juvenile Championship a couple weeks ago. Ran third in that one just by half a length, but is running into those good horses. If you're able to keep up and finish right up there close to them every time, I got to say you're a pretty good horse too. So I'm going to go ahead and take that 5 as my second choice, and then I'll go with the number 3 in Liam's Road as my third pick here. Only 2 races for this horse. Won the debut at Remington Park. Had a race in July since then. That was a 4th at Ruidoso Downs, and then we'll see here in November if Liam's Road is going to like getting back on the track after a little bit of a layoff, and see if this horse can't hit the top 3. Odds of 15-1 on that morning line might be all right.
And the races have come at us fast and furious here in these last few weeks, but HR Princess Jess, the filly that won the race that Liam's Road comes out of, I believe made both the All-American and the big race, the Golden State Million Futurity that was just last week at Los Al, I think. But anyway, HR Princess Jess, who won that race, is really good. So he certainly merits a lot of consideration here. Graceland, to me, is an obvious pick if she is able to run her race. I'm with Isa Super Freak second as well, and Coronado's Chick. The only issue about Coronado's Chick, she doesn't seem to want to break or run straight. Her tendency is to move inward, and if she does that, what does that do to Liam's Road and Graceland? That's the one thing I'd be a little concerned about, is to watch the start and see how straight Coronado's Chick gets out of there and how straight she runs, but I've still got her as a third pick. 10th race. This is the beginning of the 6-shooter, a one-night modest carryover of $763 in the 6-shooter, which runs on the final 6 of the night. Scratch the 6, Mandy Lane.
I'm on the 2, Trace Evidence. I was talking about a horse that ran into some tough ones in the career. Now, this is another one that's run into some tough horses. This horse has run into Whistle Stop Cafe a couple times, Shotgun in 7. In 4 consecutive races, this horse had to compete against all those. First 2 races of this horse's career were all right. Second by neck, third by half a length. That third is the one that got him into the Heritage Place Juvenile, where he was beat by Whistle Stop Cafe. But I think Trace Evidence, after running those big races, can get out here and fire tonight. Second choice will be your number 3, Famous Chief. This is a horse that was in the Dash for Cash Juvenile most recently, that came at this 400-yard distance. Finished 5th in that one, a length and 3/4 behind. Was bumped in that one. Was bumped in the trial race for that one, for the trial for the Dash for Cash as well, but was over to overcome that and be one of the 20 fastest times of the trials to get in that Dash for Cash Juvenile. So I think Famous Chief could have a good run. And then the 7, Confetti, is going to be my third choice right here. Last 2 outings weren't the best for this horse, but that debut, horse did win his debut, or she won her debut. Has run this 400-yard distance before, beaten by a length and a quarter, or length and 3/4 in that one. But I think Confetti could be the best of the rest here in race 10.
Interesting that because of embryo transfer technology, you can have horses of the same age running at the same time, unlike thoroughbreds, which don't allow embryo transfer. One mare is only able to produce 1 racehorse a year, obviously, but Trace Evidence and Confetti both come from the mare K-Pax. Don't know if she, actually birthed one of them, I mean, there could be a bunch of K-Pax offspring running around because of embryo transfer, but nonetheless, they're half siblings. I prefer trace evidence over confetti, but I think they both have a shot. Certainly, obviously, they have a big shot. I don't know what happened with trace evidence last time. He was really a disappointment. He was dead on the board. He was coming out of some of those really, really good races with Shotgun and Whistle Stop Cafe in 7, like you mentioned. He just didn't fire at all, but, maybe it just wasn't his night. But I went with Famous Chief. I mean, it's not a very imaginative pick. I went with him over Trace Evidence with Confetti third. And Deferred Interest is a half to two really good ones. Run for Your Life and Powerful Favorite, who've been running out in Southern California. Deferred Interest hasn't really put it together in 2 races yet for John Steinbow, but I'm definitely gonna keep my eye on the 5 horse. On to the 11th. This race starts the pick 5, $3,179 in the carryover in that wager.
Yeah, I'm on the rail horse, Cruising Cartel. I've talked a lot about Graceland, how much I like Graceland. Well, you know what? Cruising Cartel beat Graceland twice, and Quick Chicks Dynasty as well. So that was 2 races in a row that Cruising Cartel was able to do that. Most recently was in a trial race for the Dash for Cash. Didn't have the best break. Bumped some other ones, got disqualified in that one, but even before that DQ, the horse was able to stay up there for 3rd with that bad break. So that was in that Bad Monkey trial. I think Cruising Cartel gets the job done here. Second choice will be your number 7, and Dulce Sintaka. This horse was in the All-American Juvenile last time out. Ran 2nd in that one just by neck. That was the first loss of this horse's career in 4 starts. So all 3 of those before were all wins, all coming out in New Mexico at Ruidoso Downs. Definitely one to glance at here as well. And then I went with the 3 and Fires Relentless as my 3rd choice. That last race, the horse was well beaten, beat by 6 3/4. I imagine that instead he reared at the start. That was it after that. After you rear up at the right at the start, that was it. But 2 races before that, 2 consecutive second-place finishes in trials at Ruidoso. I think Fires Relentless is a pretty good horse here.
Yeah, I've got him 3rd as well. His dam certainly was really good. His dam won both the Kindergarten and the Ed Burke. The Ed Burke, a Grade 1 $1 million race out at Los Al. I went with Dulce Sintacha. I mean, it's, again, not a very imaginative pick, but has done absolutely nothing wrong. It was a close call over Cruisin' Cartel. I remember I picked Bad Monkey over Cruisin' Cartel last time simply because Cruisin' Cartel was the horse that broke his maiden by a length. And then according to the PPs, they added a flipping rig for start number 2, which I don't understand why you would do that unless the horse had been a bad actor around the gate and you thought maybe the horse was going to have issues, so you put the flipping halter on him. And then he wins that 2nd start, which is fine, but then he didn't break very well in his 3rd start, and he sort of blew at 6-5. So if he runs his race, though, I mean, look out. He's going to be very tough from the inside. We've got a video here in race 12. Let's go ahead and look at the Heron Assassin, who is not my top pick in here, but he is going to be the 4 in this race. And he gets bumped sideways at the start. He's going to get bumped really hard. Watch the 4, the Roan horse, bang. He really gets hit hard, and he still kind of gets roughed up. And now he's really going to fire hard here in this race, and he's going to wind up making up about 1.5 lengths in the last 100 yards and run 2nd behind Lethal Rain. So he doesn't win the race, but he just gets up there for 2nd late. I thought that was a really nice effort. But, unfortunately, he's dealing with the Firecracker winner from Delta and an undefeated one, and he's innocent. But the Heron Assassin will be my 2nd pick. And Steal the Candy, who always seems to get into some kind of trouble in his races, is my 3rd pick.
What happens when you steal candy? You get in trouble.
Exactly. That's a good,
my kids do anyway.
It's a very cogent point.
Yeah, he's innocent 3 in a row, won the Firecracker Futurity. A lot to like about this horse. I mean, even had a bullet workout coming on the 8th of October. Was one of 58 that morning at Evangeline Downs. So
that's
beat
good.
57 other horses. That's pretty good. Heron Assassin, 2nd choice. You always seem to in the finals of these big races seem to have a horse trained by Rolando Almanza. So I think this might be the one that can get up there and hopefully run a fast enough time to qualify for the finals. And then I went with the 10 on the outside as my 3rd pick. Big long shot here, San Lorenzo Carter. That trial race last time out came right out here at Lone Star Park at this distance, just 3/4 of a length behind, 3/4 of a length behind the race before that, where he ran second, a second before that by a half, and a second by a head. I mean, so all 4 of the career starts for the 10 have been right up there with the leader pretty much. So I think this might be one to watch, and at 30-1 on that morning line for this horse, that might be pretty good in those tries when this horse comes in.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that No Messy Fire trial, I don't think that didn't move the bubble. It was I forget exactly. I don't think it moved the bubble, but it was a very competitive race as far as San Lorenzo Carter was concerned, running a good 4th. I have He's Innocent as until he does something wrong, I'm not going to pick against him. Heron Assassin also galloped out very well, which sometimes a gallop out in this sport might not be all that impressive because they just give it all they have for as long as they have, and it's just a straight sprint, and then they're basically slowing down. They're basically pulling up after that. But the Heron Assassin galloped out like he might really like the return to 400 yards. And, we'll see about Steal the Candy. I mean, if he can have a clean, trouble-free run, he could be tough too. On we go to the 13th try.
Yeah, I've got One Cool Dreamer. That's your number 5 horse is my top pick here. Last 2 races for this horse have been good. I mean, this horse won a stakes race 2 back at Canterbury, went and fired at Prairie Meadows. After that, ran second just by neck. Looked good in that race. Going to try this 400 yards for the first time. It's going to be the longest this horse has ever run, but I think that One Cool Dreamer can get up there for the win tonight. Second choice, I'm going to take the 7, Jess on the Run. A winner last time out. Another one of those Rolando Almanza trained horses. This horse broke its maiden out here. It was at this 400 yards distance, did it by a neck. Was able to hold on for that win. I do like the 7. And then I went with the 10, your top choice, as my third selection. That's Jess Speechless, a winner 2-back. A solid third last time out in Allowance Company. Has run this 400 yards twice, has a third to show for it.
I'm not really sure. Well, I guess it wouldn't be hard to figure out. The race apparently didn't time out that fast. But that horse had a very visually impressive Allowance third last time, but the number wasn't very good. The speed index and the E-speed figure just don't really measure up. But I'm going to put that aside. Those things aren't necessarily gold all the time. So I'm going to take Just Speechless over One Cool Dreamer. Not to hammer the point home, but the things I like about the 5 now kind of make me wonder, a few days ago, why did I lean toward the 10? I think just the visual impressiveness of the 10's race. But the 1 has excellent speed. First time at 400 yards, but is drawn in a really nice part of the track. Comes from a barn that wins a lot of races. Jason Olmstead stable. So to me, that was almost a coin flip. I went 10-5-7. Jess on the Run. Had me thinking of the old song for about 4 hours, Fox on the Run from the mid-'70s. YouTube that if you want. It's not a very good song, but it will stick in your head. All right.
If it's going to stick in my head, I'm not going to listen to it.
Look up, if you're a lot younger than I am, look up Fox on the Run. It's a real bubblegummy mid-'70s song.
All right.
On to the 14th.
Here we go. This is Shotgun's race. We talked about Shotgun earlier. 1-2 on the morning line for this horse. That is the number 3. Solid resume. I mean, you can't doubt this horse all except for one race pretty much. But, was a winner of the Heritage Place Futurity at Remington Park earlier this year. Went on to Ruidoso Downs, won a trial race for the All-American out there by a length and 3/4. I think that this horse is going to be fast. I think this horse is going to cross that finish line. This is going to be a fun one to watch. Second choice, I went with the number 8 in Graceful Paradise. I'm giving that last race a pass. I mean, that was a good size race. He ran against Bad Monkey. Eyes are super fast in that one. I think those horses are definitely better than the 8. Definitely better than Graceful Paradise. But the 3 races before that, all of those futurity trials at Ruidoso, performed well in those. A couple seconds and a third. And then my third selection, I'm going to go with the number 5 in Jez Flying. If you take a look 2 starts back, this horse broke its maiden. That was at this 400-yard distance. So, hey, picked up a win at this distance. There's not a lot of experience at this 400-yard distance. So I'm going to go ahead and take Jez Flying as my third choice here.
Yeah, I have Jez Flying as a third choice as well. Tends to be fractious all the time. So does my second, not fractious, but trouble-prone. So does my second pick, Shifting Ground, who made the Lyco Bird at Remington back in the spring. or it was in the Lyco Bird. I don't think you necessarily trial for that. But nonetheless, this horse has gotten a piece of it occasionally. But, the top pick for me is obviously Shotgun. He's fourth in the current AQHA 2-year-old poll and, is just oozing ability. And on that note, let's go to the 15th and final. The 15th and final will wrap it up. And I think a chance here to maybe beat the favorite. Well, let's put it this way. We're both on the favorite, but I'm going to spread just a tiny little bit in my suggested late pick 4 and pick 5.
All right, well, I've got this one. It seems like it's pretty chalky here to me. I've got the 2, Jess is the Boss, as my top choice here. The horse was a stakes winner last time out. Ran good in the Heritage Place Futurity Trial earlier this year. I think there's a lot to like about this one. The solid meet up at Remington Park, and then follow that up with 2 good races at Will Rogers Downs as well. James Flores is going to be on this horse. Alonzo Neary trains. He wins at a fairly high percentage out here. I think it's definitely one to take a look at. The 6 Fundamental is going to be my second choice. This horse has won 3 in a row. Looking for number 4. One of those did come at this distance, so I like that. And then my third choice, I'm going with the horse that's on the outside, your number 10, Jessa Dash and Angela. A winner last time out, another one of those Rolando Almanza horses. Seems like these last few races I've got him picked in my top 3. Well, I'm telling you, one of his horses is going to make the finals. Which one's it going to be? I got to put them all in my top 3, it seems like.
Well, the thing about Jessa Dash and Angela is she was with a different trainer this summer, went to Almanza, and just absolutely fired on October 11th. Just woke up in a big way. So that's a very positive sign that he found some secret to her. I've got her 4th. Jess is the Boss to me is a very logical favorite. I wouldn't single him, as I think there's a number of singles throughout the course of the day, and he may be a single as well as far as the odds go. But, he certainly merits a lot of, favoritism here, but he's stretching out for the first time. He had a little bit of a long campaign. It's been very good. He's obviously a clear-cut favorite. I took him over Fundamental, who's a $110,000 yearling, formerly trained by the late John Buchanan, now with his former assistant Juan Vasquez. Fundamental is coming in, having had really good form this summer. And Dash for Blood is kind of intriguing for me from the Lyle Woods stable as a third pick. Had an allowance race here, that Card 1 starter race, but did make the Heritage Place Futurity back in the spring. All right, the pick 4s tonight, we have 4 pick 4s. They start in the second race, the 5th, the 8th, and the 12th. Is that correct? So a different look to the pick 4s. Yeah, the last pick 4 starts with the 12th race tonight. So a little different look there. 6-shooter starts in race 10. The pick 5 in race 11. Carryovers in the pick 5, the 6-shooter, and the high 5. We did it. It's about 4:08. I think we made it.
I didn't think we were going to be this quick, but we did. And
we were able to get through.
A lot of money carried over. You're talking about those carryovers.
Yeah.
4 pick 4s to pick from tonight. Man, it's going to be fun. A lot of opportunities to make some money and to pick some good horses and watch some very, very quality, some of the top 2-year-old quarter horses in the nation right out here on the track tonight.
No doubt. We had a lot of really nice 3-year-olds last night. Had a few upsets sprinkled in. We'll see if that happens tonight. All right. Well, enjoy Rodney's previews, and thanks a lot for looking in, and good luck tonight.